In this video, we'll try to address the question of how many projects you should have in your resume. This is for the people who are applying for their campus placements, sitting for the campus placements, and maybe if you're applying for an off-campus job as a fresher, right? Because obviously, if you have worked for some other organization in your past, then the interviewer will ask you questions regarding the projects that you have done in your previous company. So let's get started. So there are a few points I want you to focus on. The first one being always rely on quality over quantity, because you see the interviewer is not interested in how many algorithms you know or how many projects you are able to how many projects you have made over the past couple of years. But what the interviewer wants to see is that whatever business case that you have chosen, are you able to justify the entire process? So obviously, if the interviewer had to compare between two students, that is, the first one only knows the algorithm, and the second one knows how to deploy the entire solution, that is, starting from data acquisition to the part of deployment, then I think the second guy or girl is definitely having the advantage. So just focus on two and three projects. This mistake is something that I did when I was creating my first resume. So what I did was, you see, everyone thinks that it's quite easy to go on a platform like Kaggle, take up 6 to 7 problem statements. You have the notebooks over there. You have solutions of winners available on various blog sites. So what we think is that, hey, I don't think this is an issue because I am aware of the theoretical aspects. What I can do is that I can just go to these platforms, copy paste the code, and all I have to do is tackle the questions by these interviewers, right? What is the algorithm, what it does, and all that stuff. But be sure that the questions are majorly asked from a production point of view. So the person who's asking you questions can focus more on the aspect that, okay, let's say this algorithm is out of the equation, whatever you have used. So what is the second algorithm that we could have used? And apart from that, always remember whichever algorithm you are referring to or as your solution, always keep an eye as to what is the situation or assumptions that you have taken. So in which possible situation your algorithm's performance will deteriorate, and what are the most ideal assumptions for your algorithm to work properly. Again, I want to reiterate, if you are able to deploy your solution on some free tier of cloud platform. So let's say if you have made an AWS account, so I think they provide some free tier for students. I don't remember exactly what the credit one gets, but you get some free tier, right? Always try to do that. The fourth point is that make your resume for the company. Okay, domain knowledge is something that is very important when it comes to machine learning, and from the point of view of a recruiter, if the guy is able to notice that the candidate has already worked on problem statements that are similar to what he or she might have to work once the person is in the company, then I think it definitely adds some sort of advantage. Because, for example, let's say the next company you're applying to is an investment banking company. So what you do is that you are aware of the algorithms. So what you do is you take a problem statement that is more relevant to the work that they do. So you try to make for a banking sector, what you can do is you can make a fraud detection model, right? And from end to end, what sort of data do you have? What are the problems with so and so data? So you see that generally when interviewer asks you to open a project, that is again just like a discussion. So just imagine that you are in an open mock interview. You might have seen sort of interviews on these sort of interviews on YouTube. So it will start right from the part where did you come across this data, and what do you think are the assumptions for this sort of data set? What is the difference in real life data and all that stuff? So every question, every angle that you can think of, you should be able to tackle that. So that is why I say that 2 to 3 projects are more than enough, so that you can be able to tackle any question that revolves around any sort of tricky variation of the project. So I think this is it. One thing which is not related to what sort of projects that you have, but how you are actually performing the algorithm, or let's say the solution. If you can, try to implement the algorithm from scratch. So let's say, obviously, if you want to do logistic regression, you can use the predefined libraries. You can just perform an import, and you can do model.fit and stuff. But if you're able to demonstrate that, hey, I have made the implementation of the algorithm from scratch, that is, I have not imported anything. So whatever learning process I have implemented for the algorithm, whatever weights that I've learned, then for that I have done everything from scratch. So I've just used Python, NumPy, nothing else. So that definitely adds an edge. So I think this answers this question of how many projects you should have. So best of luck for your placements.